Hey everybody, it's Fantical, and I'm gonna do a bit of a spooky reaction video because, well, because Halloween is upon us soon in a number of days. I thought I might as well react to a spooky video on Snaptown, which is gonna be one of the videos on Snaptown's channel. Link is in the description box. If you prefer watching the original video rather than my reaction and commentary, and let's roll the tape and start the video. I was about to say roll the tape again.
How you doing? I'm Callan and this is Slack Cam. Today we're looking at some unsettling images, from an entity captured at a spiritualist convention to a ghost photo that may have instigated.
Wait, there's a spiritualist convention? Crap. Maybe I should go to a spiritualist convention.
The murder confession. We take a look at 10 creepy vintage ghost photos that are sure to give you the chills. But before we get into it, remember to hit that subscribe button for more awesome, scary content just like this. This eerie photo was taken at a Californian
That's kind of
convention
creepy.
in 1968. Author Robert A. Ferguson is giving a talk on his latest book, Psychic Telemetry, New Key to Health, Wealth and Perfect Living, when someone in the crowd snapped this picture. In the photo, just left of Ferguson, there's a translucent image of a man in a suit.
Okay, I'll admit that does look creepy. And well, if you feel who are watching this, you gotta admit that's creepy.
When Ferguson first saw the image, he immediately identified the mysterious figure as his late brother Walter, who died in World War II. Many skeptics have tried debunking this now notorious photo. However, the most alarming detail about this image is that it was taken on Polaroid, ruling out the possibility of double exposure or extra elements added in the darkroom.
Yeah, that's true.
This unsettling self-portrait of William H. Mumler allegedly contains the spirit of his dead cousin, floating ominously in the background. In New York in the 1860s,
How the
William
hell does that
Mumler
work?
began working as a medium after he produced a series of astonishing photographs that purportedly contained the spirits of the deceased. Word soon spread around the country as people began to pay large sums of money for Mumler to contact their dead relatives and produce proof in the form of photographs. His most notable work is a portrait of Mary Todd Lincoln and her late husband Abraham Lincoln. Mumler's career, however, became unstuck when several people noticed that a lot of the spirits that were showing up in his pictures were actually still alive. This led to Mumler being put on trial for fraud, and although he was eventually acquitted, his reputation was left in tatters. At the time, there were several credible witnesses, such as journalist Moses A. Dow, who supported Mumler and his spirit photography. They maintained that the photos were genuine evidence of the existence of ghosts and an afterlife. What do you think? Could Mumler actually contact the dead and reveal their essence in the form of a photograph? Or is it all just a scheme cooked up to make a few extra dollars? Many think that this photo contains the spirit of a young girl who died in the Australian outback. In 1959, a priest from Adelaide, R.S. Blantz, took this photo while exploring Corroboree Rock in Australia's Northern Territory. He claims that he was enjoying the scenery, taking photos, and didn't see anything out of the ordinary. That was until he got the photos developed and couldn't quite believe what he saw. There in one of the pictures is a young girl in a pale blue and white dress. She has a translucent quality and looks out of place in the rugged landscape.
Yeah, dude, I don't know about you lot. I don't know about all of you dudes and dudettes out there, but I don't think I would wanna go and I don't think I want to go and be in a location that's haunted like that. Just to, but I think if uh, I'm stumbling on my words. God damn it. If I went to a location like there's this one location I know of called Kets Hill. Or there's this one street called Kets Hill, and there's a place called Kets Heights that's located on this particular street, and I have often thought about like taking a camera there so I can to take some photos, and I never did that because I was worried that if I did that, there might be there's a chance that I might that in one or two of those photos it might show like spirits and or like the spirits of like one or two people. Like there's actually an old like crippled building of like there's remnants of a building that belonged to a guy called like Saint Michael or something like that. And I can talk about it in a separate vlog video if you don't want. And if you want me to do a vlog video like at that place, Kit's Heights, that's on Kit's Hill, I'll be more than willing to do that.
Corroboree Rock holds a spiritual significance for the indigenous communities that live in the area. The Arunda tribe believe the area is dangerous for women, children and uninitiated men. It's forbidden to climb the rock itself. Has Blance accidentally captured a spirit that is somehow attached to Corroboree Rock? Is this young girl now forced to eternally wander the vast, empty landscape of the Northern Territory?
Maybe.
This is an eerie vintage ghost photo from Brazil. It's not known when the photo was taken, but it was developed using plate glass photography. And, judging by the clothing, it probably dates this photograph to the very early 1900s. The image shows two people sitting for a portrait photograph. However, there's a strange woman floating horizontally across the center of the picture. The story goes that the man sitting in this photo confessed to a murder after the image was produced. It's alleged that the mysterious floating woman fell victim to the man on the left and was killed just a few weeks earlier. The photographer, who was not a medium or a spiritualist, claimed he could see the spirit of the woman through the lens of his camera. However, when he looked at his subjects normally, there was no one else there. Some historians think that the photographer knew about the crime and deliberately superimposed an image of the woman to drive the killer to a confession. Others think that the woman's spirit really did appear in the photo, perhaps seeking justice for her untimely death.
Maybe. That'd be creepy, though.
In 1872, in the bustling town of Bristol in the UK, spiritualist John Beattie was experimenting with seances and photography. He and his colleague Eugene Roches would attempt to summon spirits into the room via Ouija boards and other mediums. A series of photos were taken in an attempt to capture anything unusual. This photo is an example of one of those seances. You can see in the middle of the men, floating ominously above them, is a strange white shape. It's separated into two pieces, a small inverted L shape above a much larger body of pale mist. This is obviously well before digital image manipulation could play a role, so it begs the question, what is this strange object? It's possible, as with other spiritualists at the time, that the...
Yeah, the only time you ever see me use an Ouija board is if I was playing a video game. Like, if it's part of a video game or flash game, then that's the only time you would ever see me have any contact with a freaking Ouija board. Because I don't think I would want to use one in real life. Because if I did that, I think I'll have a... Then, I would ask someone who's like a pagan or Wiccan if they could please perform a cleansing or something on me, because just to like really like release any spirits who are attached to me, aside from my own spirit, of course.
image is an outright hoax, a double exposure used for ill-gotten gains. Some historians, however, believe the photograph is genuine evidence that these men connected with spirits and energies from other realms. St Mary's Guildhall in Warwickshire, England is
St.
notorious
Mary's
for eerie happenings and ghost sightings. And when this photo surfaced in 1985, people were shocked to see hard evidence of the paranormal. This photo was taken during a meeting of the Coventry Freemen's Guild. The scary thing is, no one remembers the tall hooded figure that can be seen at the top left of the table. Over a dozen people that attended the meeting that day said they didn't see a robed monk during their opening prayer, yet very clearly there's a ghostly presence at the head of the table. It's interesting to note that St Mary's Guildhall once held Mary, Queen of Scots prisoner, which many say is the reason the hall has such an ominous feeling about it. Within the enormous medieval complex is an area known as the Draper's Room. Visitors often report feelings of extreme sadness, anxiety, and depression when they enter the room. Some have been known to burst into tears for no reason at all. Could this strange vintage ghost photo prove that this notorious guild hall is really haunted? This is another classic example.
Oh god, no. That looks creepy as hell. This is why I. This is why you hardly ever see me take any photos of myself. Because of shit like this. Shit like this. Like this. Shit like this creeps me out.
Of spirit photography that was employed at the height of the spiritualist movement at the beginning of the 20th century. Taken by infamous paranormal investigator William Hope, the photograph depicts an elderly couple who have allegedly been visited by a dead relative, seen hovering in the top half of the picture. Much like William H. Mumler, whom we
Oh
mentioned
god, no.
earlier, William Hope would advertise to the bereaved that he could contact the dead. He would have his customers pose for a portrait photograph and attempt to summon their lost loved ones into the room. He would then take a series of photos and wait to see if he had made contact. More often than not, supposed spirit beings were seen in the freshly developed images, eerie shadows or disembodied faces. In February 1922, William Hope's spirit photos were put to the test by fellow paranormal investigator Harry Price. Price secretly marked Hope's photography plates to test the authenticity of them. When the photos were developed, the secret markings were nowhere to be found, meaning that Hope had switched the plates with ones he had prepared earlier, plates that already contained superimposed spirits on them. This covert experiment outed Hope as a fraud, yet somehow he managed to retain a staunch following of believers in his work. Author Sir Arthur Conan Doyle was one such proponent of Hope's work. He went on to threaten Harry Price for outing Hope as a fraud, stating it was a conspiracy to derail the spiritualist movement. So, was Hope a fraud, or could he really contact the dead? Whatever the case may be, it's undeniable his photos evoke an eerie sense of unease. The origins of this photo are as mysterious as the photo itself. No one seems to know when or where the photo was
I'm
taken,
glad
and the
that part of the
photographer
image
has
was
never come
enhanced.
forward. Yet, the unsettling image has proliferated around ghost investigation forums for decades. In the photo, we can see a small child.
I am glad that this part of the image was uh, was enhanced because if it wasn't, then I probably would not have noticed the image of the ghost boy.
Disembodied face hovering next to an old tombstone. It's pale and translucent. Could it be that this is the grave of a young boy? Perhaps the spirit is somehow attached to the person buried there. However, it is possible that the
Yes,
image is a fake, and that's the reason why there's so little information available. Either way, though, it still makes for a very creepy photo. For decades, this photo of a ghostly monk kneeling at the altar has been the source of much speculation in the paranormal community. Gordon Carroll took this eerie photograph in 1964 when visiting the Church of St Mary's and All Saints in Northamptonshire, England. At first, Carroll didn't notice anything.
strange enough, Northamptonshire is actually like one of the 5 places I'm actually thinking that I could move to. It's like Northampton, Kings Lynn, Great Yarmouth, Cromer, and Portsmouth. Like those are the 5 places in the England part of the UK where where I actually I'm actually thinking I might move to like outside of Norwich if I ever move house. And I'm actually also thinking about having like one or two people to. I was thinking about having it as like a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom place, so that way I can have like one or two people come around and be my roommates if they want.
Particularly strange in the church. That was until he had the photos developed when he noticed the eerie translucent figure kneeling at the altar. For years, people have debated whether the figure looks like a monk or possibly even a medieval knight praying at the foot of the church altar. Others have noted it might be the ghost of an old cleaning lady that once worked in the church. To the right of the figure, there looks to be a bucket. Carroll has always defended the authenticity of the photograph, claiming it's not been altered in any way. Before we get to that number one spot and take a look at a ghost captured on an old steam train, remember to hit that subscribe button and turn on channel notifications.
Yeah,
That
please
way
go
you'll
do
get
that.
every update from our channel.
Yeah, please go subscribe to Slaptown. Yeah, like if you go click on the link to the original video to Slaptown or to the Slaptown YouTube channel, please go and do please go and do this. Subscribe to his channel and hit the bell icon.
On a sunny afternoon in the mid-1960s, the iconic Alberta steam
Alberta's
train
ghost
was gearing
train
up for its
spill.
last ever journey. Locals and journalists gathered round to see the grand old train leave the station one last time. And as they did, they took several photographs, one which would become famous for something a little more eerie than a retiring train. In the photo, you can see 4 men, including the driver, standing at the wheel.
Uh, yeah, I think it's safe to say um, about where the spirit is on this train. This looks like it could be the ghost train to the afterlife.
Speed card of the train. However, if you look in the right window, a face can be seen peering out. It looks to be an old lady wearing some kind of ornamental headdress.
That's kind of hard not to notice.
During its operation, many drivers said that the train was haunted. They claimed to have ploughed through strange misty figures on the tracks, only to find nothing there. Doors would open and close on their own, latches would lock and unlock, eerie whispers were heard down empty carriages. One driver even said the train itself would behave erratically when passing over a bridge known for suicides. The train would speed up and slow down on its own. Once the brakes cut out momentarily right as the train passed over the notorious bridge. Could this photo then really have captured the spirit of a restless soul that once haunted the old Alberta steam train?
Maybe.
If you can't get enough of the creep.
Well, yeah, I think it's safe to say that those images are actually they're actually rather spooky, and I'm glad that it's almost Halloween since from when I upload this video because you'll admit those are rather spooky videos. But yeah, as I mentioned moments ago in the video, I there were 5 places. Those 5 places that I mentioned about in the England part of the UK. I was thinking that if I were to move into a place, uh, and it's gonna be like somewhere outside of Norwich, like those are the 5 places I might go house hunting at because that'd be interesting, and I might do it where it's like a 2 bedroom or 3 bedroom place because that way not only that'd be a good way to have like any friends and or family members to come around. But also if there's anybody I know from YouTube who's boy who wants to if they want to move out of their current place of residence and they're worried about being homeless, at least I got a spare room for them to use and they can be my roommate. But although me and the personal question, we'd have to discuss like some ground rules and and the whole paying rent thing and that sort of thing, for obvious reasons, which I hope I don't need to go into too much detail about. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed the reaction video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel if you enjoy, and hit the bell icon if you want to see a few more videos, and please go and check out the That Time YouTube channel, because this dude Callum and plus any team of people he's working with, they do actually do a damn good job at these countdown videos. And a link to the original video is in the description box down below. And until next time, goodbye for now.